This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Sampath. I'm a trainer in Uplatz e-learning, and I'll be giving training for this BPC course, classic version today. And first, we'll see the training content. So I'll go through the training content once, and then uh, the main goal for today will be what is the overview of BPC and total landscape and architecture, and we'll discuss the evolution of BPC and all. Okay, so I hope guys can see my screen, and once. Hi everyone, I'm Sampath. I'm trainer in Uplatz e-learning, and today I'm going to start training for BPC classic version. So, and, initially I'll show the course content, so which will be utilized for training this BPC version, and then after that, today we're going to see the overview of BPC. So, like, what's the landscape and how the BPC got evolved, all the other things. So, if you uh, hope guys can see my screen and see the, so totally this course contains 22 units. So I divided each part into one unit, and in each unit there will be subdivisions, and I'll try to maintain this flow. I mean, all the flow as it is, which are maintained in this course content. So yeah, if you see at the beginning, we'll start with the overview of BPC and uh, what are the advantages and how BPC is used in different industries and all, and uh, uh, we'll going to see how we manage environment, dimensions, models. These are all concepts of BPC. And then next, going to second unit, it will be EPM add, and it is an add-in for BPC. So I'll going to explain everything in detail. So these are the remaining units. So it will contain the reporting part and formatting part, and there are some formulas which we can use for flexible reporting purpose. So based on the user requirement, I'm going to show you those formulas as well, and how to use those formulas. And eighth unit is particularly for books, like for some industries, they want to prepare reports directly as a book. Like they want to publish it in their website, or they want to publish it for stock exchange. So they don't want to take an Excel sheet and create a PDF. So that's why BBC has the flexibility to create a book directly from the ad in itself. So that is a concept of books. So where we can create these books and publish it, so that everyone can see as a PDF. And up to eighth unit, so you'll see all the reporting part in Excel. And in the ninth unit, so apart from Excel, BPC has a web client where you can do the reporting, and you can create some charts, and you can maintain some documents for business user purpose or for your end user purpose. So that part I'm going to show you and explain you in the ninth unit. And after that, how the data loading will happen, like how the master data will get loaded. There are different stages of data loading. Like the background for BBC will be BW, so which I'm going to explain you later. So that way you can understand the flow of data loading. So in 10th unit, I am going to cover all the data loading part, and you can write this advanced logics in BPC. So that part will be covered in 11th unit. So which is called as logic scripts. So how you can write the logic scripts, and what are the different kinds of logic scripts you can use in BPC. And the 12th unit, it is also one of the um, important feature of BPC, like drill through. So it is kind of hyperlinked where any user can use it, and any user can use the reports. If you want to share outside the organization, the reports can be shared as an offline report. So, and you can provide a hyperlink for that. So those concepts are covered in this drill through. And 13th unit, it is also one of the important concept of BPC, where you can give an user guide. So like you can create a flow chart, actually interactive flow chart in BPC. So where you can provide all the steps, like starting from loading the data, and visualizing the reports where the data got loaded, and running some planning functions or planning logics, and all these steps. So we can't give the user, okay, go there, go to Excel and do some steps, and go to web client, do some steps. So this kind of training will be more complex when compared to uh, this business process flow. Like we can give all the steps in one single template, and they can uh, go through each step interactively, and then uh, the jobs will be done. So this will be covered in unit 13. And then in 14th unit, apart from this data collection which covered in data loading which covered in earlier unit, there is one more data collection and preparation part, which is specifically used for consolidation purpose. So that will be covered in 14th unit. And from 14th unit, so the consolidation part will be begin. So 15th, 16th, 17th, all these units are related to consolidation, different concepts of consolidation. Like in 14th unit, the consolidation related data will be loaded, and 15th unit, there will be some controls where we can maintain the review of data. Like after loading the data, we can, there is an automatic functions where we can review the data, reconcile the data, and the currency translation, ownership management. So all this, and intercompany eliminations, All these are consolidation concepts. And till 18th unit, these are all different consolidation concepts which we need to configure manually in the system. After configuring, so in the 19th unit, we can run all these steps using this consolidation monitor. So I'm going to show you how to utilize the consolidation monitor and uh, how to run those steps, everything in this 19th unit. And after that, BPC is not only related to Excel, so it is an add-in on top of MS Office. So all the PowerPoint, Word will can be integrated in BPC. So once we develop the reports in Excel, that can be integrated in PowerPoint or Word. Like in PowerPoint and Word also, you will get a refresh button, and once the data got loaded into BPC in your presentation, like for in some organizations, CFOs will present some reports where they need the data, live data in their presentation. So at that time, they can use this EPM add-in reports for showing their live data. So that part I will be covering in 20th unit. And in 21st unit, there are some other functionalities which are related to planning and auditing. Um, like controlling of your planning data, like once your planning is done, your business users will have different layers, like there will be a manager and supervisor. So once the supervisor feeds the data, your manager need to approve it. So this kind of approval and rejection process will be covered in work status. And auditing is like, so for recording the changes. So we don't know, there will be like 200 users or 500 users in a BPC system according to the industry. So whoever changes the data, those data can't be, we can't say who changed the data without this audit function. So we can enable it and see the audit reports that can be covered here. And we can do a manual backup and restore of BPC, which is the last part and last and final part. So which will be covered in 22nd unit. So this is a total course content, and will cover totally what is what BPC will provide. Like the full form is like business planning and consolidation. So by completing all these 22 units, so you will learn how to do the planning as well as consolidation and reporting and some advanced logics, all those things. So on top of it, I'll show uh, some advanced functions like audit features and work status and BPF. These are all advanced features in BBC, so which will also be covered in this course. So now we'll move to our BPC overview. So our first topic is like course overview and course goals and course objectives. As I mentioned, so the main objective of this course will be planning and consolidation, so which can be done in BPC. And objective is like you will get total end-to-end implementation um, training in this course actually. So from starting to scratch to ending. So I'll I'll start with the overview. Okay. Where you was BPC. So in this overview, I divided it into some 9 parts, like introduction to EPM, introduction to BPC and architecture, evolution of BPC and architectural changes from version to version, and capabilities, business advantages, prerequisites, and BPC landscape. So coming to the EPM part. So actually, BPC is not an individual tool, or it is not an database, or it is not an separate software that comes under SAP. Actually, BPC is part of one of the main software that is provided by SAP, which is called as EPM, Enterprise Performance Management. So SAP is a total OLAP engine, OLTP engine. So like it is called as online transaction processing engine. That means all your day-to-day transactions will get recorded in the SAP, and you can just see the raw data in the SAP tables or in, database related to SAP. But for doing analytics and to see how the business is running and how we can increase the performance of the business, and how to plan and how to get the reports, like all these gap standard reports. For in Indian AS, there will be a separate gap, and for US gap, there will be a separate standard reports, and for IFRS, which is related to Germany or European countries, there will be a separate set of reports. So all these reports we need to get out of we need to get the data out of SAP, and then on top of it we need to build all these reports. For building this reporting and doing all this analytics and performance management thing, SAP introduced this concept called as Enterprise Performance Management, which is a tool. And under this, BPC is one of the important tool for financial planning and consolidation. So as I said, they released this tool mainly for financial planning and consolidation. So this tool is related for financial thing. Apart from this, there is financial consolidation, financial information management, and all those things which I listed in this PPT. So these are different tools apart from BPC, but there is no tool, single tool that will provide both planning and consolidation integrated into single platform. So that is the reason why BPC is a powerful tool in SAP, which can provide both planning and consolidation. Why it is important to integrate planning and consolidation, that I will cover in the later part. So now I hope you guys understand what is EPM and why SAP introduced EPM. If you see this, track this somewhere here. Second. Oh, not reading. Yeah, I hope I didn't cover anything. Okay. So if you see this diagram, so these are all different uh, softwares that SAP will provide. In that enterprise performance management, EPM is one of the software that is provided by SAP, and apart from that, there is governance risk compliance software. Under that, there are different tools and information management and business intelligence, BW, which is a different software that is covered by SAP. So these are all for analytical purpose and data management purpose and for data mining purpose. So all these different softwares are provided by SAP, because it is important to note, like SAP has only raw data. So to play with the data, playing in a sense to visualize the data in a proper set, so we need all these different softwares. And as I said, BPC comes under EPM. So this will be some why I'm explaining all this EPM and different softwares provided by SAP is like in your interview, this will be some of the questions, a basic questions which can be asked. So where this BPC tool will be placed, and so under which software this comes under. So like this. So that's why I'm covering all these parts. And now coming to what is BPC. So as the abbreviation says, business planning and consolidation. BPC means business planning and consolidation, and it provides all the operational and financial activity support in an organization, helps in automating and streamlining business forecast, business planning, business budget, and consolidation activities in an organization. So here I mentioned three topics: business forecast, business planning, and business budgeting. So there is a difference between these three topics. Actually, normally we'll think forecast, planning, and budgeting, three are like similar things. So how they will differ, I will explain this. So for a business, for a industry, for example, if you take a large company like MRF, so which is really familiar to all of us. So for that company, they want to see the insights of coming 5 years, and how the company will grow in coming 5 years according to the company that according to the revenue that got generated in past 3 years. So this is normally the planning. So 5 years or 10 years, coming next 5 years or 10 years, this will be called as planning. So which is a long term plan. And based on that 5 years or 10 years plan, normally, for example, if we take the company plan for next coming 10 years, so they will plan accordingly, and they got this planning data in the BPC system. And after that, so the business got changed in next year, like in 2020 they planned for coming next 10 years without considering the COVID situation, for example. So after 2020, in 2020 March or in 2020 April, so we faced this COVID situation, and all the business got blocked, and there are many changes in the revenue, in terms of sales and everything, in terms of production, everything got changed. So it will impact our revenue as well. So based on that, they need to change their planning data, because all the 10 years data will be changed, and they need to individually plan for next year, because they can't say how many years this COVID will play uh, in the current situation. So how it will impact in the next year, they can't say. I'm taking COVID as an example. There are many examples, I mean many causes, where the industry will get changed in every month or every quarter or every half year or every 1 year. So COVID is just an example. So because you will get familiar how industries will get affected, that's why I taken that example. So now they want to plan for next 1 year. So which is called as budget. Even our state government or central government, they will yearly release the budget. So that is called a budget is for 1 year. So then only we call it as budget. And if you want to do changes in the budget for 1 month, so in coming month, last month I did the budget. I mean, last year I did the budget, but on January, on February, I seen some changes in my revenue. So based on February data, I want to change my budget data for March, April, May. June, and so on. So they will not do these changes directly in budget because they want to see how they budgeted for the whole year versus how they changed the data in between those years. And they will not change the planning data as well. So the 10 years planning data will be a separate part, and the 1 year budget is in a separate part, and monthly changes is called as forecast. So it is called as rolling forecast or monthly forecast. So different industries will use different terminologies. So long term planning is called planning. Short term, in the sense 1 year or half year planning, is called budget. And monthly changes to that budget data is called as forecast. So these are the three different things, and we can do all these three different planning related functionality activities in one single tool called as BPC. And we can differentiate between these three. So how we will differentiate, and what we need to uh, maintain for differentiating these three differences, so I will explain in the later part. So if you go into the tool specifications, so there I'll explain those parts. And now we finish this forecast, planning, and budgeting. Okay, done. I'm explaining these things for a layman purpose. So this course can be covered, can be used for any purpose, like the people who already know this budget planning and forecast, they will know that. But if an uh, starter, like fresher, uh, seeing this course, so for those people purpose I'm explaining this part. And coming to the consolidation, so if you are a financial guy, some you did come from some financial background, you already know this consolidation. But for layman purpose I'm explaining the consolidation part as well. So when you take the consolidation, what is the consolidation? Consolidation means, normally the meaning is itself says, so combining all the things is called a consolidation. So uh, we have taken an example, a company called as MRF. So MRF has its plants and has its sales departments and has its footstep in all over the different states in India, if you take in India, and it has extended to some other countries as well. So individual business performance is a different thing. Like each unit is called as entity in MRF is also. So each entity, they will get some revenue, and they need to combine all this revenue in one single entity called as uh, legal company. So which can be done using the consolidation activities. Like for example, so they have the plant in Andhra Pradesh, they have the plant in Tamil Nadu, they have the plant in uh, Karnataka. So Andhra Pradesh will give some revenue, Tamil Nadu will give some revenue, and Karnataka will give some revenue. Yeah, these are all individual revenues, and there will be some transactions in between. Like from Andhra Pradesh to Tamil Nadu, they will send some goods. So it is an intercompany. It is called as intercompany transactions. So this part, at the time in the SAP books, they will register it as intercompany transactions. Like they sold the tires to Tamil Nadu plant, and the Tamil Nadu plant will record it in SAP as, like they bought some tires from Andhra Pradesh plant. So this this is actually not a revenue to the company. And to see the actual revenue that got generated, we need to eliminate these entries, these two entries. then only we can see what is the actual revenue that got generated for the company. So this is just a blind example, and uh, to explain what we'll do, one of the concept called as intercompany elimination as part of consolidation. So like this we can combine as many entities as we want. Like some companies will have something around uh, 40 to 50 entities all over the globe, and each entity will have a separate balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, and they will have a stepwise consolidation. Like all the Asia Pacific countries will come into one set, so they will need consolidations for all the Asia Pacific entities, and all the Europe entities will comes into one bucket. So, and as a whole, the whole company needs one consolidation. So this is called as layer wise consolidation. This can also be handled in the BPC. So uh, this is a example, and to give you an overview about the consolidation activities that can be done in BPC, and all these activities we can configure directly in BPC, and we can just run them. So um, that is why BPC is a powerful tool for financial consolidation and planning purpose. So if you take some other tools, they will not have all this integration part. And coming to the next slide, this is architecture of BPC. Before going to architecture, I want to mention some more important things here. So why BPC is uh, taken as an tool for many of the industries. Uh, they have some other tools from Oracle, or some other tools from other databases as well, other OLTP engines as well. Why BPC is so powerful is like the outcome generated from this tool for the planning and consolidation, so is um, 90% accurate when compared to the other tools, because here we can take the data directly from SAP, and also there is so more flexibility in the tool, where we can do some advanced logics, and do some advanced calculations and reporting. That is the main reason, the user flexibility. And this tool is based on Excel actually. So all the reports will be generated directly in the Excel sheet. So it will be placed as an Excel add-in. So a special add-in will be installed if we use this tool. So that will generate the reports and all. I'll show you how to do that as well. So that is the reason why BPC is really important for any kind of organization. So for the financial planning and consolidation purpose. So now going to BPC architecture. So this is a total architecture in a simplified way. So it consists of three layers. Excuse me, just a second. Yeah, it consists of three layers actually. If you see here, the bottom layer, the topmost layer is called as client layer, and the middle layer is called as application layer, and the bottom layer is the database layer. So by naming convention itself, you can say what layer will do what things. So as I said, BPC is not a database, or BPC is not a software. So the whole software which will has a database and everything to it. So it is just the client layer which comes under BPC. The main um, tools that will use for BPC is from the client layer itself. So in client layer, there will be two subdivisions. So Excel part and the admin part. So during this course content explanation, I already mentioned there is a web client for BPC, and there is an add-on which can be installed in the Excel. Not only Excel, we can that add-on will be installed in MS Office. So you can utilize it in Excel, PowerPoint, or Word. But the main purpose of this add-in is for reporting, that is also in Excel. That's why Excel is mentioned here, and it is one of the main important client layer for BPC. So, and coming to the admin part, so whatever I mentioned, the web client and the web reporting and all the other configurations that we do for consolidation and the consolidation monitor audit reporting, all these are handled in the admin layer. And even BPC has a separate security layer in its admin layer, so we can handle the BPC security separately directly from the web client. So that is the admin layer. And coming to the application layer, so any software or any tool, we need an application layer where the data will be processed. So for BPC, since it is an SAP related tool, BW is the application layer, because for SAP, all the data warehouse activities are done in BW layer, which is called as business warehouse, and it is also called as business intelligence, because it can do the data warehousing part as well as it can do the uh, data analytics part. So that is a different concept. It can do the reporting part. So uh, based on the user requirement and based on their user flexibility, they will choose the tool. So that's why earlier it is called as business intelligence, and now it is called as business warehouse, but it can also do the intelligence part like reporting and all the analytic part. And the bottom layer is the database layer, so where all this data from BPC and from BW will get stored. So here on the database layer, till 10.0, I can say till 10.0 or 10.1 classic version. So which is currently covered in the course. We can use any kind of database, so including HANA actually. So we can use Oracle database, we can use MySQL database as a database layer for BW and for BPC. But after 10.1 or 10.1 embedded, if you take 10.1 embedded, we need to use HANA database as a mandatory database layer for BPC and BW as well. So that architectural changes I will explain you in the later part. So by pictographically. So if you see here, this is an simple overview. So from database layer, so we don't load anything in the database layer. So we'll majorly use application layer and client layer here. So there are three steps of loading actually, two steps of loading here. So one is from your original source system. The original source system can be your SAP, so which is an native source system for BW. So we can load the OLTP data, so which is day-to-day data, online transaction processing data, into this BW layer, and from BW we need to load the data into BPC. So then only we can do all this reporting and everything. So here I want to explain you some major point. So if you load the data, I already told you like BPC is not a separate software, and it is totally dependent for data loading and data storing purpose. So it is totally depending on BW. So here the confusing part is, so we need to load data into BW, again we need to load data into BPC. So that data which we load into BPC, again it will get stored in the BW itself. So this confusion, so if you go for the technicality and if I show the system, then you will get understand, because the technical things and technical naming conventions will get changed when come to BPC layer, that is client layer. So we need to load the data into BPC and we need to load the data into BW. So that is the confusion part, so which I want to explain, but this will get cleared when I show the data loading part. So how the data will get loaded and how the objects get created in the BW, all this part I'll I'll show you technically, and I'll show you how that's happen in the system. So this is about the architecture of BPC, and this is the evolution of BPC. So as I said, BPC is not an tool that got invented by SAP directly. So it got migrated from some other tool called as Outlook Soft. So initially, Outlook Soft started from 4.3 Microsoft version, and it has 4.3, after that 5.1 Microsoft version. Then SAP acquired this Outlook software, so for planning and consolidation purpose. So apart from Outlook Soft, there are some other tools called PeopleSoft, some other tool from IBM. So that is also used for planning purpose, not for consolidation. So when SAP acquired it, so this tool, particularly this BPC tool, can be utilized for both planning and consolidation purpose. That's why it gained more popularity than any other tool that's there in the industry. So SAP started it from 7.0. In 7.0 version, it has two different versions. So one is Microsoft version and the other one is NetWeaver version. So NetWeaver version is SAP native version. Why it is called as SAP native version is, so for for NetWeaver version will use BW as the application layer, and we'll use any other relational database or HANA database for the database layer. For Microsoft version, so there will be no intermediate layer, middle layer as an application layer. So for your data warehousing purpose or for your data management purpose, you need to use this MySQL or SQL database for your Microsoft version directly, and all the data will get stored in the database itself. So without having this middleware, so for data management purpose, there is no flexibility, and for reconciliation also a difficulty part in the Microsoft version. And the performance is also really not good when compared to NetWeaver versus Microsoft version. And if you see the later part, it released 7.5 version, which is also in two versions, Microsoft and NetWeaver. And after that, excuse me, just a second. Yeah. So from 7.0, they released 7.5 versions where they increased some capabilities to BPC, and from 7.5 they didn't release any version till 10.0. It is a drastic change of BPC tool, I can say. If you see 7.0 and 7.5, so for loading data or for just creation of dimensions, so dimensions are something used as tables. So in BPC for storing master data. So for creating these dimensions, it used to take 2 hours or 3 hours. So since I worked on 7.0 and 7.5, both MS and NetWeaver version, even in NetWeaver version, it used to take 2 to 3 hours for just creating this dimension and processing the data in dimension. But when you take 10.0, the same creation of dimensions and models got really easy, and the performance got increased uh, drastically. So now in 10.0 or 10.1 version, so the creation of dimensions and processing of master data in the dimensions are taking just few seconds, I can say. So from 2 to 3 hours to few seconds. So that is the drastic change from 7.5 to 10.0 version. So from 10.0 they released 10.1. So the major difference in 10.1 version, you can see in 10.1 NetWeaver version. So there are two subdivisions again. One is classic and the other one is embedded. In MS version, there is no improvements apart from the performance, which I explained earlier. So they want to discontinue this 10.1, I mean MS version in coming future. That's the current strategy of SAP. And after 10.1, they released 11.0, which is currently available. But mostly all the industries are using 10.1 embedded or classic. And 11.0 is like embedded version only. So, um, and currently, um, there is no force of migration to 11.0, and the major difference is in 11.0 when compared to 10.1. So it is mandatory to use HANA database as a database layer in the 11.0, but there is a flexibility in 10.1 to use any other database versus HANA database. So that's the major difference there. So this is the total evolution of BPC from Outlook Soft to SAP acquired and MS version to NetWeaver. And the difference between Microsoft and NetWeaver versions, as I said, that's the only application layer, and the client layer remains same. All the processing, everything remains same, and there is a concept of script logics. So if you see in NetWeaver version, so in that script logic concept, you can use ABAP, so which is a native coding language for SAP. So because uh, we can use it in NetViewer version, we can't use it in MS version since MS version don't have this application layer. So apart from that, everything is same in the client layer when you see MS versions, NetViewer version. So this is the total evolution of BPC. And next, if you see, this is a past, present, and future architectural differences of BPC. So if you see in the current, I mean, what I explained earlier from 7.0, so BW 7.0, that is BPC 10.0. So here there are two versions. So one is the client layer, which is BPC, and the application layer, which is BW. It will have its own version, and the database layer, which is any other database or HANA database, it will have their own versions. So here BPC NetWeaver version is morely dependent on application layer. So if we migrate BPC, we need to migrate this application layer as well. That's why both these versions are really interrelated. So 10.0, for 10.0 BPC classic version, in 10.0 there is no embedded version. Uh, in 10.0 there is only classic version. So in 10.0, the BW it need to use is 7.x. That means 7.0 or 7.1. up to 7.4. So till 7.4 version, uh, SAP given the flexibility to use any database from 7.5, which came from 10.1 version. So in BW 7.5 version is like BPC 10.1 version. That too embedded version, not the classic one. So if you are using classic with BW 7.5, then you don't need to have a compulsory HANA database. So you don't need to migrate to 7.5. So you can stay in 7.4 itself if you are using classic, because you don't see major changes or major performance impact if you migrate BW alone. So the only impact you can see at the database application layer and storing of data. So from BW to database layer. So if you are using embedded version in 10.1, then it is recommended and it is mandatory to have 7.5 version with HANA as the database for BW, because you can utilize directly database tables in the BPC reporting at the client layer. Like and as I explained earlier, so in classic version, we need to load data into BW as well as BPC again. So in this 10.1 embedded version with HANA 7.5 BW, uh, they avoided this second layer of loading the data. So we don't need to load the data again into BPC. We can directly utilize the data that we loaded into BW. So that is the main difference. And if you go for 11.0 version, so that is the future actually. So there you need to use BW for HANA as application layer, that is compulsory, and HANA as the database for it. So like S4 HANA, there is a BW for HANA application layer. So we need to migrate to it. So here, if you see the version changes and the impacts on each version, the architectural difference is the major impact in BPC. So according to the functionalities, if you learn the 7.0 MS version or NetView version, you can see the same functionalities in 7.5, 10.0, 10.1, and 11.0 as well. So if you take the classic version, if you take embedded, which got started from 10.1 version, so if you learn the 10.1 embedded, you will see the same features uh, flowing from 10.1 embedded version to 11.0. So the functionality difference are minimal. The application layer and database layer differences are most impactful when you upgrade the BPC from one version to other version. This is mainly to improve the performance and mainly to get the live report, live data. Like for data loading purpose, normally we'll spend like 1 hour or 2 hours depending on the uh, data records. Like for 10 million records, you need to wait for half an hour to 1 hour. When you take another database, other databases, for the same data load, if you load directly in the HANA layer and utilize the reports directly in the client layer of BPC, so you don't need to load any data. That means you don't need to wait for data loading. You can utilize the report on the live. So that is the performance impact that you can see from version to version, and that is the main strategy of BPC. So not changing the functionalities and all. And even from for embedded version in 10.1, you don't see much capabilities of consolidation. The embedded version of BPC is mainly proposed to have this planning capabilities. So and to increase the planning capabilities, which didn't covered in the classic version. So that is the main difference. And you can see most of these consolidation activities in the embedded version of 10.1. Or then they released this 11.0 version. to add on the capabilities that we have in the classic version, so in the embedded version as well. So that is a functionality difference. So if you learn the classic version, what I explained in this course, so that is the most uh, that those are the all functionalities that you can see in any BPC version. And next, these are key capabilities of BPC. So as I explained from the first slide itself, so BPC is an integrated tool which will have this unified planning and consolidation. So what is the main importance of having this integration? So that I want to explain actually. So like planning is something which we plan for the future. Consolidation is done which is for the past. That means actuals, we call this as actuals. So normally for comparison purpose, we need to see a report, past versus future, then only we'll know. Normally if you take your normal budget planning, so last year I got a salary of 10K, and last month I got a salary of 10K, just for example. So next month I want to my expenditure will go for 7K, something like that, and 3K will be the remaining balance. I want to spend it accordingly. So that is your plan in the previous month. So in the current month, so your expenditure gone up to 8K or 9K. So you want to see the difference. So I am taking an example for simple 10K as an total income. But in BPC, we are talking about trillions of dollars or millions of dollars or rupees, so any currency. So for managing that and for comparing them, so we need a powerful tool, and this comparison is very important because you can't take the planning data from a different tool, and you can't take the consolidation data from a different tool, and you need to manually integrate them in some other tool and do the reporting. So that kind of burden, so you can avoid it by using BPC. So you can just compare the reports. So variances reports and built-in financial intelligence. As I said, all these consolidation activities like currency conversion. So if you have different entities in different countries, India follows rupees, US follows USD dollars, and UK follows pounds. So there are currency translation differences, there are rate changes. All these impacts can be handled by BPC, and there are built-in functionalities. So we don't need to write some logics, or we don't need to do some coding. There are simple steps which we can configure, and accordingly it will get calculated and we'll get the accurate data. So that's a beautiful functionality of BPC. And then the next thing, it can be integrated in Microsoft Office and web and mobile reporting. So now the latest mobile reporting also available for BPC, but that's a separate license, and we can publish it from the web itself. You can view it from the mobile itself. So if you have a Fury app and attached to the BPC, you can use it as mobile reporting as well. That is also a beautiful functionality of BPC, and we can access BPC from anywhere. Like if your company has a public domain, so if you want to view it from anywhere in the world, you can view the reports directly. That is also most important functionality. And after that, as I said, in the consolidations, so there will be legal consolidations and management consolidations. The main difference for the layman purpose, so legal consolidations are something will provide to the stock exchange. Like we'll have this, uh, like for example, as I said, some X company got 25 entities, so they need to show the layer wise consolidation. Like each group of entities comes under one layer. Like 5 countries comes under layer 1, and 10 remaining 10 countries comes under layer 2, and remaining 10 countries comes under layer 3, and all these 25 countries will comes under layer 5, which is the X company. So this kind of layers will already propose to the stock exchange. So we need to provide the data for the for those particular layers as well as the total group. And management consolidation is something called as, so we already provided these layers for the company, for the stock exchange, but I want to see continent wise consolidation. Like for Asia Pacific, what is the revenue I'm generating? For Europe region, what is the revenue I'm generating? For US region, what is the revenue I'm generating? So for this different consolidation groups, so we need to do a different configuration, and we need to again remap everything that we done for legal consolidation. So so the important point here is, so we can have both these models. So we can do the legal reporting, which will be provided for the stock exchange, and we can do management reporting, which is necessary for our business management, like for our CFOs or CEOs to look into our their peer companies. So how they are performing in the Asia Pacific region or region wise. So for that purpose, they need this management consolidation. We can handle this both in the BPC, and budgeting and forecasting and planning. So as I explained earlier, and self-reliance and accountability. Like I said, the accuracy of data, and we can have this audit functionality where you can account the who changed the data and when changed the data. By user wise, you can get those reports. And prepackaged content, as I said, for this financial intelligence and BPFs and work status. So these are some prepackaged contents. I can say, like you don't need to do some coding, or you don't need to write some coding. So you can just configure some steps, and you can utilize those for your planning capabilities. So that is the prepackaged content. And coming to the next slide, business advantages. So the accuracy of data and reduced planning and consolidation cycle times. So normally, in my past experience, I've seen a company using Excel spreadsheets for their planning and consolidation purpose. So for preparing this data, what they used to do is, like, they will download all the transactions from SAP into the Excel spreadsheets, and they will manually do some formulas, and manually prepare some pivot tables in the Excel. So by using the Excel formulas, and build the reports, and they will compare this data uh, against the consolidations manually. And for sharing this data also, they will use emails, like they will share the files in the emails, and they can't send, there is a limit in the email, like they can't send huge data files, and they need to place it in some SharePoint site, and from there they will retrieve the data. And if something happens to the SharePoint site, they can't access their Excel files. So that's the main constraint.